You're about to buy your first home in Madison, Wisconsin, and you want to know what the upfront costs are and if there are any hidden fees. Well, I'm here to tell you exactly what those upfront costs are and what hidden fees there may be that you didn't know about and no one is talking about. My name is Mark Gladue, and I'm a broker associate with Lauer Realty Group. I've been helping first-time homebuyers navigate the waters of the real estate market in Madison, Wisconsin for over 20 years, helping them understand the upfront costs, the hidden costs, and also stick around to the very end because I also want to tell you a little bit about down payments and what you should be looking to do or what you should be looking to save for your down payment depending on what kind of home you're looking to purchase. Also, here's a tip. If you've been thinking about signing up for a first-time homebuyer webinar, you don't need to, because in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to give you everything you need to know that might take them up to an hour to explain to you. So pay close attention, and then you don't have to give your email to anyone so that they email you over and over and over and over again with all this information that you don't need. And instead, you'll get all the information you need right here. So if you have other needs and you're a first-time homebuyer, be sure to check out the rest of the videos on this channel. The first upfront cost, earnest money. Now, if you've done any research whatsoever, then you probably already know that earnest money is a part of one of the costs that you will have upfront. What it is a good faith down payment. You're basically telling the seller that you're interested in their property, and so you would like to put money down to secure that interest in their property. This money is held in a broker's trust account and does not get touched until closing, which means it's used as part of your down payment. In the Madison area, so very specific, you're looking at normally 1% of the purchase price as your earnest money. So say $550,000 house, you'd be looking at putting $5,500 down. If you are in competition, here's where it changes, and that is you want to show even more good faith or show that you have a strong financial position. So you may want to consider putting anywhere between 2 to 5% down in earnest money, because that should give them the idea that you are very serious about purchasing their property. Okay, the second cost that you probably already know about is that if you're able to do an inspection as one of the contingencies in your offer to purchase, that inspection is going to cost you money. Now, that can differ whether your house is huge or maybe the house is a little bit older, or maybe you get the double whammy and the house is not only really big, but it's also really old. So oftentimes we look at the home inspection as costing around $500. Now, give or take up to $750 for that home inspection if your home is extremely large or if your home is extremely old. Now, the costs that you don't see, or the hidden costs, if you will, would be, let's say you need to do a mold inspection or a radon inspection, or let's say you need to have a contractor come over and take a look at something as serious as the foundation. All of these may cost you money. In fact, I know that some of them do. So in order to do a radon test, for example, you're going to be spending anywhere between $100 to $200 to do that. I'll explain radon to you in person once we get started with the contract. The other thing with mold, they automatically charge you in order to do a mold inspection. So just know that. And again, that can range anywhere between $250 and $1,000, depending on how much mold the inspector thinks there might be. Look at something like the foundation. So if you're looking at a foundation inspection, a lot of times now those people are actually charging an upfront cost so that they can come over and take a look at it. So those are just some of the hidden fees. You have the normal home inspection, which you're probably aware of. However, the other inspections that you have done by qualified professionals may also cost you some money. Have you heard of HOA? That is a homeowners association, and oftentimes those come with a fee. Now, that fee can range, I have seen, anywhere between $150 to $650 per year. It is not on a per month basis, it is an annual basis. However, it is one of those hidden fees that you will be paying if you decide to purchase a home that has a homeowners association with covenants and restrictions and all those great things. So think about, if you're going to buy that home, do you want to pay that annual fee? Like I said, not a huge fee, however, one that you want to budget for. All right, the next hidden fee that we want to talk about is that sometimes your lender will require you to do some prepaids. This could be homeowners insurance, it could be real estate property taxes, In most cases here in Madison, what I find with first-time homebuyers is that they have to pay anywhere between 6 to 12 months of homeowners insurance up front, and that could be anywhere between $800 to $1,200 depending on what insurance company you're using. So again, be sure to budget this amount when you're looking at upfront costs that not a lot of people talk about. Title and closing. So what I like to do for all of my buyers is to give them a net sheet once we have an accepted offer, and it will include all of these title and closing cost fees. What you may not know, because not a lot of people talk about this, is that when you go to closing, the title company charges you a fee of $500, and then you also have your lender application fee that's going to be around $500. You also have a recording fee, so that recording fee in Dane County is $60. So right there, you're looking at about $1,100 for your title and closing costs. Might be a little bit more than that. However, we do know that it is generally around that cost. So when you're looking at putting all the financials together for upcoming costs or upfront costs when you go to buy your home, that would be one of the things that not a lot of people tell you about and that you should know and put into your whole budgeting system. Finally, I want to talk about down payment. Obviously, down payment is something you need to buy a home, but I want to talk about it in different degrees. So the old school thought is that you should put 20% down because it's going to lower your monthly payment, it's going to get rid of PMI, and you're going to have more equity in your home right away. This is all exactly right, and I would never dispute any of that. And if you have the means to do so, by all means do so. And then if you had even more, you could do that. However, if you're a first-time homebuyer, you're probably looking at either down payment assistance programs or a WIDA loan or an FHA loan, possibly even a VA loan. All of these are going to allow you to put much less down. I think it depends on what you're looking to do. So if you're looking to build sweat equity, for example, and you need to have a little bit of capital on hand because you're going to be taking on projects at the house, whether it be a new kitchen, a new bathroom, new flooring, or paint, all of these things cost money, and so you want to have that money up front so you can do these things so you don't hate the home that you fell in love with, right? Now, if you are looking for something that is more put together and move-in ready, then I would say try to put as much money as you can down. It doesn't mean you have to put 20% down. Maybe you're putting 5 to 10% down. The other thing that this is dependent upon is what you qualify for. And so this is going to be your debt to income ratio, your credit score, everything that your local lender looks at. This is going to be what dictates your down payment. So be sure that when you start looking at homes, that part of the process is looking at what kind of home you're looking to be in. Is it a fixer-upper? Is it a move-in ready home? Is it a condo? All of these things will matter, and it will depend upon what you're going to do as to what your down payment will be. I think this is one thing that people overlook, is that not everyone needs to put 20% down, but if you can, it's great. If you want more capital to put towards projects and to build more equity, that's even better. If you're moving to the Madison area soon, I can provide you with a quick cost breakdown. Please give me a call, send an email, and we can set up either a time on the phone or a Zoom interview so that we can talk more about what it looks like to buy a home, what those upfront costs are, what those hidden fees are, and everything else you need to know about buying your first home in Madison, Wisconsin. If you like this information, please subscribe, like, and then share this with a friend. Also, you might want to check out some of the other videos on different neighborhoods in the Madison area, what the cost of living looks like. All of these can be found on this same YouTube channel. I appreciate your time. I hope this has been helpful. And as always, glad you stopped by.